KIRO 7 News starts right now.
Tonight,
we have seen an uptick in gang violence in this region.
Seattle is feeling fed up and searching for answers.
We need a safety strategy, first and foremost.
From open-air drug use.
When we talk about in-business patrols, that's a bad thing.
To emboldened gang activities.
The criminals feel way too comfortable coming there and selling drugs and shoplifting.
We're giving you an in-depth look at the state of the city.
Get us some help, get us some protection. We live here. We have to walk here. What do we do?
Asking our leaders for action and not just answers.
He remembers just walking down the street. Next thing he knew, he was on the ground.
As KIRO 7 presents The Danger Downtown.
Whether you live, work, or just visit Seattle, the violence that gripped downtown on Wednesday night has had an impact on all of us. And good evening, I'm Monique McLaughlin.
And I'm Dave Wagner. It's been a tough week. We've heard from a lot of you about the deadly shooting at 3rd and Pine on Wednesday night. We've heard your fear, your frustration, and tonight we dedicate this half hour to the important issues surrounding Seattle's downtown core. First, let's bring you up to the minute on the investigation. Police are still looking for 2 suspects, William Tolliver and Marquise Tolbert. They're considered armed and dangerous. If you see them or know where they might be, you're asked to call 911. The King County Medical Examiner identified the woman killed as 50-year-old Tanya Jackson. She died from a gunshot wound to her torso. As of this airing, 2 of the 7 others shot remain in the hospital. 1 man is in satisfactory condition and a woman is in serious condition. Harborview Medical Center released a 3rd shooting victim, a 9-year-old boy named Judah. KIRO 7's Allison Grandy was there at Harborview when Judah left the hospital.
We all needed to see that at the end of this week. The shooting left him with very serious wounds, but a family friend talked about what was giving the boy and his family strength.
They told us Judah is shy and that he might not say anything as he left the hospital, but he didn't have to. You could see how well he's doing. He's heading back to Port Orchard, a survivor.
9-year-old Judah was pushed down the hallway in a wheelchair 48 hours after he was shot. A bullet shattered his left femur. After surgery yesterday, today he's headed home. His family says he's remained calm during the entire ordeal, his faith giving him strength. Judah was shot outside the McDonald's at 3rd and Pine on Wednesday.
He remembers just walking down the street with his friends and his parents and started to hear gunshots, and then next thing he knew, he was on the ground.
Judah, his family, and fellow Jehovah's Witnesses were walking from the Pacific Science Center to the ferry dock when they were caught in the middle of a shootout. It shattered Judah's femur, but a surgeon at Harborview put it back together like a jigsaw puzzle. Judah was just feet from the woman who was fatally shot. She was identified late this afternoon as 50-year-old Tanya Jackson. Jackson was a longtime resident of Plymouth Housing that helps people transition from homelessness into supportive housing. Her close-knit community is grieving. The 55-year-old woman shot in the stomach also lives at Plymouth Housing. She's still at Harborview. So is a 32-year-old man. Judah was surrounded by family and friends at the hospital. He was loaded into an SUV outside. He got settled in for the drive back to Port Orchard.
While he left the hospital in a wheelchair, we're told Judah was up walking this afternoon. He's eager to get better. We're told he wants to go door to door to share his story and his faith. In Seattle, Allison Grandy, KIRO 7 News.
Unbelievable that he was walking. Well, you at home have told us these issues surrounding safety are so important. We feel they are as well. So when we decided to put this special together, we reached out to Seattle Mayor Jenny Durkan, Police Chief Carmen Best, and King County Prosecuting Attorney Dan Satterberg. We asked them to appear on this program. We wanted to bring your questions to them. All 3 of them declined, but both Durkan and Best spoke about the shooting and the issues downtown the day after the gunfire.
Many cities who face greater challenges than us. But Chief Best and I want to tell you, we will not allow this to be the new normal. That is not acceptable. We know that gun violence is preventable, and in the city of Seattle, we are taking urgent action to stop this cycle of violence.
Let me be clear. Seattle is one of the safest major cities in the country. You know, major cities everywhere are dealing with issues of gang and gun violence. We're not immune to that. But, you know, in comparison, we're a very safe city on this very issue.
Well, Satterberg's office said it was working nonstop with Seattle police on the case, saying in part, quote, "We had prosecutors at the scene who worked with the law enforcement throughout the night, continuing into today, and will continue to do so as long as it takes to ensure that those responsible for this violence are in custody." Now, we are going to follow up on how his office has handled these two suspects in the past during the prior 75 times between them that they've been arrested.
Gang-related violence is one of the factors that drove up the number of shootings in Seattle last year. Let's go a little deeper on that right now. Earlier this month, the police department released its annual report on gun violence, saying officers responded to 332 shooting incidents in 2019. That is up from 313 the year before, and there were 5 more deadly shootings in 2019. That analysis also revealed the 2 hottest spots for shootings, and downtown was not among them. The department said those hot spots were along Aurora Avenue North and Rainier Avenue South.
Yeah, but still, what happened on Wednesday is just a continuation of those persistent problems that we have seen on that block. All of us have seen that. But Dave, in particular, you've spent a lot of time. That's on 3rd Avenue between Pine and Pike, that area that we're talking about.
Yeah, it's a tough area. That block is in the heart of downtown. It's full of workers, shoppers, tourists, and right on the busy bus line. There are a lot of people passing through and just a lot of people hanging out. The violence on Wednesday is the latest chapter for a troubled block. It is a frighteningly familiar scene at a familiar location with a familiar refrain from city leaders.
Our downtown is safe. We know people don't feel that, and we know this rattles people.
Anyone who lives, works, or visits downtown knows this block of 3rd Avenue is a place where crowds and crime converge.
I don't think anybody's surprised. I think we all see the criminal activity that occurs at 3rd and Pine, and it has occurred for decades.
In November of 2016, an eerily similar scene, as 5 people were shot in the same block after an argument in front of the 7-Eleven that has now shut down. Just like Wednesday's shooting, some of the victims were innocent bystanders.
Doing their own thing, not doing anything wrong, and yet they're, affected by it, could be killed. It's pretty sad.
This was the response from then Seattle Police Chief Kathleen O'Toole.
I just want to reassure people that in spite of the incident last night, we're not going to give up. We're paying very close attention to this neighborhood.
3 years later, after this week's shootings, Chief Carmen Best is making a similar pledge.
We're going to have more resources out there. We're bringing other officers in from other areas to assist us and augment so we have higher visibility.
In the past, patrols have been sporadic, in part because of a shortage of officers. On Wednesday, police were 4 blocks away on the scene of an officer-involved shooting when gunfire erupted at 3rd and Pine.
Incredibly frustrating to see this tragedy that unfolded last night in a part of town that for too long has been held by the criminals, and we got to take it back. Enough is enough.
For years, criminals have brazenly staked their claim to this block.
Knives, a lot of them have guns. The drug dealers down here that are on 3rd and Pike especially, most of them are packing guns.
3rd Avenue is one of the busiest bus routes in the city, with this area known as the Blade.
It's like right on the gauntlet to get from the bus into the building.
A drove of dealers and drug-dependent customers are undeterred by police.
The criminals feel way too comfortable.
Many of the addicts who buy their drugs on 3rd Avenue find refuge in this rat-infested alley just a half block away.
Cooking up my dope.
3 years ago, I met 35-year-old Cheyenne, who buys her cheap heroin on 3rd between Pike and Pine.
This is typical Seattle heroin. You get just a little shot for $10.
Every syringe of heroin is like a game of Russian roulette, not knowing if the dealers on 3rd Avenue have given her something that is lethal.
You never know what you're going to get. You could get stuff that's not even real and it kill you.
Back at the scene of Wednesday's shootings, some users prefer to shoot up inside this McDonald's.
If you buy something at McDonald's, for instance, you can get in the bathroom.
Last year, I revealed how this McDonald's and other downtown businesses have installed blue lights, making it more difficult for intravenous drug users to see their veins.
To keep people from fixing there, and it's a good idea because it's a family.
It is a vicious cycle. Dealers on 3rd Avenue fuel addiction, with many of the addicts shoplifting from surrounding stores to pay for their drugs.
The heroin is great.
In this alley in 2018, I met Devin Butts, surrounded by brand new clothes stolen from the Ross at 3rd and Pike. ready to be sold on the streets to feed an unrelenting addiction. How much of shoplifting is drug-driven?
I think the vast majority of it is drug-driven.
Fed up with crime, this 7-Eleven on 3rd Avenue moved out, and other nearby retailers are reportedly considering closing up shop.
Drug dealing and the violence and the quality of life issues that go along with it will not be tolerated.
Last July, Seattle Police and the Downtown Seattle Association announced a new crackdown on gun crime and drug dealing, with an emphasis on Westlake Park and the 3rd Avenue corridor. But the problems remain.
Between people walking, people buying drugs, selling drugs, police, and people that's actually trying to get to work, it's too many people walking around, you know? It's just chaotic.
With this block witness to yet another crime, a Seattle leader makes another promise.
I will be the mayor that is going to try every single day to fix 3rd and Pine, and 4th and Pine, and 5th and Pine, and the courthouse, and Rainier Valley, and Lake City Way. We have to make sure that people in this city not only are safe, but feel safe.
And what we showed you is just a fraction of the problems, as we saw on Wednesday night. Even if you're just walking through that area, just walking through that block, it doesn't mean you're immune to the danger.
And so many people have no choice but to be there. They
No
live
doubt.
there, they work there, they take transit to or from. It's an essential part of our city.
It
We
is.
have to see some change. And our coverage continues.
Next on KIRO 7.
People tell us they are still feeling unsafe. Will you be the mayor who finally fixes 3rd and Pine?
With fear comes anger. The danger downtown is sparking outrage on the streets and social media alike.
The Seattle Police Department is doing an excellent job. That doesn't mean that we don't have areas that we have to work on.
Tonight we are listening to you, pressing for action and not just answers. When KIRO 7's The Danger Downtown continues.
When you commute late, KIRO 7 is here for you at 7.
With fresh news delivered on your time. Here's what we know right now.
Live with breaking news so you can see what is happening right now.
Here's a live look from Chopper 7.
Local with a forecast that looks ahead. Here's what you need to know before you head outside tomorrow.
And in depth with hard-hitting investigation.
They give you more information.
We found the top 3 spots drivers are most likely to be ticketed.
We're here for you every day so you know more.
KIRO 7 News at 7. Live, local, and in depth.
Immediately after bullets started flying on Wednesday, we heard people demanding solutions to stop the violence.
More police car. I'm sick of all this violence.
Citizens in Seattle are outraged after the shooting that left one woman dead, 7 others injured. In the days after those shootings, we've heard anger and frustration from people who perceive an increase in violence in Seattle's downtown core.
And they have been expressing just that raw anger with KIRO 7 News crews, including reporter Amy Clancy.
After shots rang out Wednesday, hundreds of shoppers and commuters ran for cover. And many expressed fear.
I hear pop, pop, pop. People started screaming and running.
We saw a dead body, and then we saw a gunshot in the window.
I heard pow, 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 pow. I knew it wasn't fireworks, and then I started screaming.
But soon after fear came anger, frustration, outrage.
This is terrible. I don't walk here at night.
That a corner so well known for crime was again where violence erupted and ended with someone dead. Crime at 3rd and Pine has been a problem for decades. So Thursday, KIRO 7's Graham Johnson demanded answers from Seattle Mayor Jenny Durkan.
Will you be the mayor who finally fixes 3rd and Pine?
I will tell you this is, I will be the mayor that is going to try every single day to fix 3rd and Pine. We have to make sure that people in this city not only are safe, but feel safe.
According to Seattle police, Wednesday's shootings were the result of gang violence. So the chief promised more officers in the area.
They're going to see the mobile precinct out there.
However, it's not just gang violence plaguing 3rd and Pine. Shoplifting, theft, assault, illegal drug dealing, and drug use are all common.
I can go into it, but I think all you really got to do is walk down 3rd Ave.
Crack cocaine, heroin, spice, all available right across the street. The cops know they sell drugs right there, and they don't do nothing about it.
The Seattle Police Guild president told KIRO 7 officers do respond. However,
our part in it is to make the arrest. There are other community members, our other law enforcement partners. They have to take it from there.
So KIRO 7 took that question to Seattle City Attorney Pete Holmes.
This might have been a gang-related shooting. However, 3rd and Pine is known for open-air drug dealing night and day. Are you going to start prosecuting those crimes in that area?
Amy, I'm sure you know that drug crimes are VUXA's, felony charges, right? And I'm a misdemeanor prosecutor.
I understand that, but I'm asking you as the city prosecutor, is that something that you're going to address more stringently like they're saying they're going to address the other crimes?
We address crimes when they are referred to our office for prosecution, and we certainly prioritize violent crimes, and that was the policy before this event and was the policy after the event.
Whatever the policy is, at this rally on Friday,
We're fed up.
Downtown business owners and residents demanded that all crimes be addressed. But it will be too late for this 17-year Seattle resident who told KIRO 7's Deborah Horn he's moving out.
So I don't think this is going to be today for the news. Tomorrow is going to be different.
You don't think this will make a difference?
No, I don't think so.
And until the area is more safe,
This is my taser, and then I just have my pocket knife.
this downtown worker will continue to arm herself.
People bring their kids down here, and there was a child that was shot. So for children to come down just to go shopping or be with their parents, it's not safe anymore. It's sad to say. Like, I used to take the monorail growing up just to go to the Seattle Center, and now I don't even know if that's safe for kids.
Wow. Well, Amy, it's a little depressing, quite frankly, to hear that man say, this is not going to change, tomorrow's not going to be different. You've been covering crime in this area for decades. You've lived here your entire life. Does this feel different?
The anger was immediate, rather than seeing what's going to happen. People are tired of it.
Yeah.
And you know what I also noticed was the average citizen doesn't know the difference between a felony and a misdemeanor. All they see is crime. And so this differentiation of, well, it's the King County prosecutor who handles felonies and gang violence. It's the city prosecutor who handles smaller drug crimes and misdemeanors. The average citizen doesn't know the difference or care. It's crime. They want it stopped. That's what they care about.
They want leadership, too.
They want it to stop.
Absolutely.
And they want to feel safe.
Absolutely.
Bottom line.
Absolutely. And they don't. That's what they told us. For the first time in my history of reporting, I had somebody come up and grab us and said, I want to say something. People like to shy away from the camera. Wednesday night, they didn't shy away from the camera. They sought us out because they had stuff to say.
and we are going to be committed to getting some answers for them. We know how dogged you are, Amy. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, KIRO 7 has repeatedly looked at staffing issues with Seattle police. Last November, the city council passed a budget with $1.2 million aimed at hiring officers and keeping them. In the spring, the city added a bonus program to hire dozens more officers. The union representing officers is concerned about emphasis patrols because officers are already stretched thin and working a lot of overtime.
When we talk about emphasis patrols, that's a Band-Aid, because those are using your current resources and actually extending them out hours, where you can only do that so much.
In her remarks after the shootings, Chief Best said the department is working on staffing and it was not a problem in responding to 3rd and Pine.
Well, we know this city is growing, and looking deeper into this, we know our police department is not keeping up. Now, we compared modern census numbers to 20 years ago. Here is the city's population back then. Here is roughly what it is right now. That is a growth of 32%. Now let's take a look at the police force. Back then and now, their growth is just 14.5%, not nearly keeping pace.
Coming up, fed up, fear, and frustration.
Just walking down the street and all of a sudden I hear pop, pop, pop. I can't even talk. I'm just scared. I'm just sick of all of it.
I hit the floor right away. It felt like a bank robbery. I was scared to death.
We're taking the pulse of Seattle after a senseless shooting rattled the Pike and Pine corridor. When KIRO 7's The Danger Downtown continues.
The free KIRO 24/7 app.
It is live, local, in-depth news on your schedule.
On-demand stories and original shows.
Check out my consumer alerts and investigations.
Get pinpoint weather updates.
Download the KIRO 24/7 app for free now.
Dedicated to South Sound coverage every day. KIRO 7 News at 5.
And welcome back to our KIRO 7 special. The danger downtown. We've heard the shock, the anger people are feeling after a woman was killed and 7 people hurt in those shootings in downtown Seattle on Wednesday.
Now, here's where the investigation stands at this point. Police are still looking for 2 suspects in Wednesday night shooting, William Tolliver and Marquise Tolbert. They should be considered armed and dangerous. If you see them, do not approach them. Call 911 instead. Seattle police also have a tip line, 206-233-5000. Again, at the bottom of your screen, 233-5000.
The King County Medical Examiner identified the woman killed as 50-year-old Tanya Jackson. She died from a gunshot wound to her torso. As of this airing, 2 of the 7 others injured remain in the hospital. 1 man is in satisfactory condition and a woman is in serious condition. Harborview Medical Center released a 3rd victim, a 9-year-old boy named Judah.
So much of your reaction about the shooting keeps pouring in since that night. Let's take a look at what we've seen from you out there on social media. Seahawks quarterback Russell Wilson even posted simply, "Pray for Seattle."
Someone going by the name Totally Seattle added, "Really hope this elicits reaction from SPD about that corner. Central to downtown has been the worst area of the city for decades. Whatever needs to be done now." Al Nesbitt posted, "Unbelievable. Everyone knows how sketchy downtown is. Hello, Ms. Mayor. It's time to take action."
And more came in from musical artist Soul and NBA player Jamal Crawford, both from this area. They offered their thoughts and prayers.
A user on Instagram who goes by Becca wrote, "Prayers for my family and friends who live downtown. To think that a city I was born in and raised around pretty much my whole life has been getting worse and worse, to the point soon everyone is thinking about open carrying just to be able to protect themselves from guns themselves." And user Dara B wrote, "Please clean up this city."
Well, this conversation is ongoing, so keep telling us what you think on our social media platforms as this issue develops. And you can also reach us through KIRO7.com, our mobile and smart TV apps, also on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Also, we are everywhere. We want to hear from you.
As we kind of wrap things up here, you know, we both live downtown.
Yeah.
We work here as well. We spend a lot of time in this city. This is disturbing. It's disappointing.
Yes.
This city can do better than this.
Absolutely. And leaders said yesterday, we will not let this be the new normal. We're going to continue looking into what the old normal was that led right up to this, including repeat offenders, problems on that block, problems with the system. We are going to keep on looking into that and getting some much needed answers, because people, everybody out there, you need the answers because this is your community.
It's our community. It's all of our community. Thank you for trusting KIRO 7 News. We promise to stay on top of this story.
And you can track our continuing coverage of the shooting and the danger downtown on our website, KIRO7.com, and the KIRO 7 News app, and on all of our newscasts. We'll see you at 11.
KIRO 7 News is live, local, in-depth, 24/7. Log on to KIRO7.com and download the KIRO 7 News and weather apps. KIRO 7 is a Cox Media Group station.